Shadowlands and Strange Streets, the world's most popular urban myths, outside the USA. Urban myths, those strange, whispered stories that slip from friend to friend, from television to playground, from generation to generation, are a universal human phenomenon. While Americans have Bigfoot, the chupacabra, and alligator-infested sewers, the world is filled with legends just as wild, chilling, and sometimes hilarious. These tales aren't just entertainment. They reflect the fears, dreams, and social anxieties of a people evolving in real time with their culture. From haunted subways in Tokyo to killer phones in South Africa, vengeful spirits in Eastern Europe to miracle cures in South America, let's take a trip around the world through the most beloved and persistent urban myths, all found outside the United States. Europe 1. Bloody Mary's distant cousins, the mirror ghosts of the UK and Europe. While Bloody Mary is famous in American slumber parties, versions of the same mirror ghost myth crop up all over Europe. In the UK, children for generations have summoned Maryworth or Black Agnes by chanting in dark bathrooms. In Russia, the legend of the Queen of Spades is even more sinister. She is said to appear if you draw a staircase and a door on a mirror and repeat her name. She might grant you a wish, or pull you into the mirror world forever. The common thread? Mirrors as portals to the unknown, a reflection perhaps of old folk beliefs about souls and the afterlife. Despite constant warnings, every new generation of kids dares each other to try it. 2. The Rat King, Germany and Central Europe. A tangle of rats with their tails mysteriously knotted together, sometimes found alive, sometimes dead. Rat kings are one of Europe's creepiest curiosities. Museums in Germany still display preserved rat kings as proof of the phenomenon. In folklore, finding a rat king was a sign of impending disaster, like plague or famine. Science is skeptical. Many believe these grotesque clumps were created after death, but the myth persists, even making its way into horror novels and Netflix's Dark. 3. The Vanishing Hitchhiker, UK, Scandinavia, and beyond. A staple of urban legends worldwide, the Vanishing Hitchhiker is especially popular in the UK and Scandinavia. The story always begins the same way. A driver picks up a quiet, strange passenger late at night. They chat. Then the hitchhiker asks to be dropped off at a cemetery or a remote address. When the driver turns to say goodbye, the passenger has vanished, sometimes leaving behind a chillingly cold spot or a borrowed coat. In Finland, she's called the road ghost. In Ireland, it's often a banshee or an old widow seeking a final ride. In all versions, the legend plays on modern fears of strangers, nighttime travel, and the thin border between life and death. During the communist era, parents throughout the Eastern Bloc warned children about the Black Volga, a luxurious, sinister black car said to cruise the streets, kidnapping children. Some stories said the KGB or other secret police used the car for abductions. Others insisted it was driven by vampires, Satanists, or organ harvesters. A variation claims the car's headlights were eyes that could curse anyone who looked into them. In reality, the Volga was simply a Soviet luxury car, but the myth grew out of deep social anxieties. To this day, some older Poles and Russians shudder at the mention of a Black Volga. A Victorian legend with a steampunk twist, Spring-Heeled Jack was said to leap impossibly high walls. Eyewitnesses described a caped figure with claws, glowing eyes, and the ability to spit blue flames. The legend spread across England, with copycat pranksters and panicked newspaper reports fueling the hysteria. Modern historians believe Jack was an urban boogeyman invented to explain nighttime attacks and social unrest, but you can still buy Spring-Heeled Jack Halloween costumes in the UK today. Asia. No Japanese urban legend is more infamous than Kuchisake Onna, the slit-mouthed woman. According to the myth, she wears a surgical mask and asks lone children, "Am I pretty?" If they say no, she kills them with scissors. If they say yes, she removes her mask, revealing a grotesque mouth slit from ear to ear, and repeats the question. Either answer is fatal, unless you distract her or run. The legend first appeared in the 1970s, possibly inspired by old Edo period ghost stories. In the late 20th century, panicked Japanese schools issued emergency safety alerts after rumored sightings. Today, Kuchisake Onna is a horror icon, featured in manga, anime, and films. One of Asia's earliest internet-based urban legends, the Red Room Curse, is a digital ghost story. A pop-up ad appears on your computer with the message, "Do you like the Red Room?" If you try to close it, it keeps coming back. Eventually, your name appears in a list of victims and you're found dead, your room painted in blood. This myth taps into modern fears about computer viruses, online dangers, and the loss of privacy. In Hawaii, the Green Lady haunts Wahiawa Gulch, covered in green moss and seaweed. She's said to be the ghost of a woman who drowned while searching for her lost child and is now doomed to wander, snatching children who wander alone. Local kids swear she smells of seaweed and can slip through chain-link fences. Like many Pacific ghost stories, this one blends indigenous beliefs in restless spirits with more modern urban myth tropes. In Beijing, Bus 375 is famous not for its route, but for the legend attached to it. According to the myth, one night in 1995, the last bus left the Yuan terminus with a handful of passengers. Along the way, two mysterious figures boarded, a woman and a man with faces that were white, featureless, or blurred. The bus kept driving, and by morning it had disappeared. Days later, the bus was found abandoned, all passengers dead, with their bodies oddly preserved. The story is often retold with new details. Sometimes it's vampires, sometimes ghosts or criminals. Urban planners in Beijing have denied any lost bus, but the story endures, scaring night travelers to this day. A wave of SMS and email chain messages in the early 2000s claimed that certain popular snacks, chewing gum, Hello Panda cookies, or soft drinks, were secretly laced with poison, infected blood, or even AIDS. None of the stories were true, but they spread rapidly, fueled by language barriers, distrust of foreign products, and the power of the internet. Some of these myths led to real panic, product recalls, and angry calls to authorities. Latin America La Llorona is the most famous urban legend of Latin America, told in Mexico, Central America, and parts of South America. The story is always chilling. A beautiful woman drowns her children in a fit of rage or madness, and then, racked with guilt, wanders rivers and lakes for eternity, weeping and searching for their souls. If children hear her cries, they must run. La Llorona kidnaps the living to replace her own lost children. Parents use the legend to scare kids away from dangerous water at night. In many regions, she's become a symbol of grief, loss, and colonial trauma. Hollywood has exported her story, but she remains a uniquely Latin myth. Though the chupacabra is sometimes claimed as an American cryptid, it originated in Puerto Rico in the mid-1990s. The first reports described a spiky-backed, alien-looking creature that attacked livestock, draining goats of blood. The hysteria spread to Mexico, Brazil, and even Spain. Theories ranged from government experiments to alien pets to demonic entities. Scientists dismiss the legend, but farmers still blame livestock deaths on the mysterious goat sucker. Every year, new blurry photos and videos circulate online, keeping the chupacabra myth alive. While the black-eyed children story is now found worldwide, its strongest presence outside the U.S. is in Latin America. The myth: children with pale skin and completely black eyes appear at night asking to come inside your house or car. Those who let them in experience bad luck, nightmares, or even death. The story spread via chain emails and social media, with local variations adding details about witchcraft, missing children, and warnings against making deals with the devil. 14. El Silbón, Venezuela, Colombia. El Silbón, or the Whistler, is a skeletal figure who wanders the plains of Venezuela and Colombia. He's said to carry a bag of human bones and appears at night, heralded by a distant, eerie whistle that gets louder as he approaches. If you hear the whistle, you're marked for death or misfortune, unless you're quick-witted enough to distract him. The myth serves as a cautionary tale, warning against greed, disrespect for family, or wandering alone at night. 15. The Phantom Taxi, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico. In many Latin American cities, rumors persist about phantom taxis, cabs that appear at night driven by the dead, demons, or criminals. In one version, a passenger hails a cab, only to find the driver unresponsive or his face blank. In another, the cab delivers its passenger to a graveyard or a trap, where they're never seen again. The legend blends old fears of nighttime travel with modern anxieties about urban crime. Africa 16, Tokolosha, Southern Africa. In South Africa, Zimbabwe, and surrounding countries, the Tokolosha is an evil, goblin-like creature blamed for everything from nightmares to illness and bad luck. He's described as short, hairy, and sometimes invisible, with the power to become ethereal and slip through cracks. The Tokolosha is said to crawl into homes at night and torment sleepers, especially if they forget to elevate their beds on bricks, a common practice. The legend dates back centuries but is regularly invoked in local news, especially when mysterious misfortunes or deaths occur. 17. Pinky Pinky, South Africa. In South African schools, girls in the 1980s and 1990s were terrified of Pinky Pinky, a half-man, half-monster said to haunt girls' bathrooms. Descriptions varied. Sometimes he had pink hair, sometimes only pink underwear, always grotesque. Rumors claimed Pinky Pinky would attack girls using the toilet alone, especially if they wore pink underwear. Scholars believe the myth reflected anxieties about puberty, gender violence, and unsafe school facilities. But to generations of South African kids, he was all too real. 18. Killer cell phones, Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa. A modern myth spread rapidly in the 2000s, answering a call from a certain cursed phone number, sometimes said to begin with +999, 666, or a local variation, would cause instant death, usually via brain hemorrhage or electrocution. Social media and SMS spread the rumor, causing panic and even official denials by telecommunications companies. The story reflects global fears about new technology and health, but in Africa it took on a particular urgency given rapid mobile phone adoption. 19. The Zambezi River God, Zambia, Zimbabwe. Locals along the Zambezi River have long feared a powerful water spirit or river god that demands respect. Swimmers or fishermen who break taboos, swearing, disrespecting elders, polluting the water, risk being dragged under or cursed. The myth predates urbanization, but tales of mysterious drownings or angry river gods appear in modern news whenever tragedy strikes. 20. The Cursed Money Note, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya. A contemporary African legend. Beware of cursed money notes, especially large bills found in the street or offered by strangers. Accepting one will bring bad luck, theft, or even supernatural harm, as the note is bewitched by criminals, witches, or jealous rivals. The myth highlights distrust of windfall profits and reflects deep cultural traditions regarding magic and envy. Oceania and the Pacific. 21. The Drop Bear, Australia. A uniquely Australian practical joke, the drop bear is a koala's monstrous cousin, a carnivorous, fanged marsupial that drops from trees to attack unsuspecting tourists. Australians gleefully warn visitors about drop bears, describing elaborate repellents, Vegemite behind the ears, speaking in an Australian accent. While the story is told with a wink, it's become a beloved part of Aussie folklore, even referenced by government agencies and in tourism ads. 22. The Min Min Light, Australia. In the Australian outback, travelers report seeing mysterious floating lights, bright orbs that follow vehicles, hover above the ground, and vanish if chased. The Min Min Light has inspired endless speculation. Ghosts, lost spirits, UFOs, or scientific phenomena. Aboriginal Australians have told stories of the lights for centuries, and to this day, new sightings make local news. 23. The Taniwha, New Zealand Maori legend. Among the Maori of New Zealand, the Taniwha is a water-dwelling monster or spirit, often described as a giant eel, lizard, or dragon. Taniwha are said to protect certain tribes but can also cause floods, landslides, or drownings if disrespected. Modern New Zealanders sometimes blame river accidents or mysterious vehicle crashes on angry Taniwha, especially in remote areas. The legend endures not just as a scary story, but as a powerful symbol of environmental respect and cultural continuity. Europe, modern and lesser-known myths. 24. The Killer Elevator, Italy, Spain, Germany. Stories abound in European cities about haunted or cursed elevators, passengers being trapped for hours by ghosts, a button that, if pressed, causes the elevator to fall, or a mysterious 13th floor that never appears except for the doomed. Some tales link elevators to specific tragic events in apartment blocks. Others claim the elevators are portals to other dimensions. While these myths are mostly harmless, they do tap into real anxieties about city living, technology, and isolation. 25. The Paris Catacombs Skeleton Wedding, France. Among the myriad legends of Paris's famous catacombs, one persists, that late at night, lost visitors might stumble across a ghostly wedding party, skeletons dressed in tattered finery, dancing by candlelight in the endless bone-lined corridors. Some say the party is led by the spirit of Philibert Aspert, a real man lost in the catacombs in 1793. Modern catacomb explorers, cataphiles, swap new stories about shadows, voices, and moving bones in the deep tunnels. Asia, modern and digital myths. 26. The Elevator Game, Korea, Japan. Popularized by online forums and horror YouTube channels, the elevator game promises to transport players to a parallel world by riding an elevator in a specific sequence of floors. If you see a mysterious woman enter, don't speak to her, or you'll be trapped forever. The game became globally notorious after the strange death of Elisa Lam in Los Angeles, but originated in Korea and Japan, where elevator horror is a recurring motif. 27. The Penanggalan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand. A classic Southeast Asian monster, the Penanggalan is a beautiful woman by day, but at night her head detaches and flies around, trailing organs, sucking the blood of newborns or the sick. Modern versions claim the Penanggalan can enter homes through windows left open or haunt urban construction sites. In Malaysia, some young people leave garlic or spiky anti-vampire plants outside their doors as a precaution. Why urban myths endure and why we love them. Urban legends, wherever they arise, persist because they tap into timeless human anxieties about technology, strangers, the dark, our bodies, or social change. In our globally connected world, a myth can start in one city and become a viral sensation overnight, blending with local folklore and adapting to new anxieties. Most of all, urban myths provide a sense of community and shared experience, whether we're daring each other to look in the mirror, whispering about the Black Volga, or warning tourists about the drop bear. As long as there are streets, screens, and dark corners, there will be new legends waiting to be born.